guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you the preview and everything else you need to know for tomorrow's massive Premier League game, Tottenham versus Watford. And why it's massive is because we win this, we will go top of the league and be there over the course of the international break, heading into the Palace game and the Chelsea game, and then the North London derby against the Scum after that. So look, it's a massive game tomorrow. We definitely need to win. But look, we are joined by co-host Jack Kanicki, who we have decided will be taking reins on the questions, and by our man, our favorite American, I have to say, after Jack, because Jack's co-host, but favorite American after Jack is our man, Will Stewart. Will, how are you keeping, my man? Good to see you back after the move and everything.
Yeah, doing good, guys. How you doing? It's been a long time since I've been on the channel. I think maybe a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, but glad to be back. Glad to be back.
No, it's definitely
good to have you back.
Yeah, it is. It's good to have you back. I'm sure the Harris Army in here would be delighted to see you back as well. But look, first of all, Jack, how are you keeping, my man?
I'm keeping quite well, David. I will say, now fresh off of, the stats with Jack now I can relax a little bit, Dave. We can kind of just, maybe give more of the opinions, less of the facts, less of the stats, maybe more of the emotional side comes out. Maybe I'll be more of an impartial host as well, Dave, on some of the questions. So I'm really, this is kind of what I enjoy. It's a bit more kind of a relax, kind of with the Harris Army, we kind of just prepare ourselves, just, for the game tomorrow, maybe with a bit of banter, a bit of some digs at the opponent. And also as well, though, Dave, if we were able to start, 9 points, off the trot, unbelievable. I mean, you can't be at a better place.
No, you can't be. Well, look, let's welcome in some of that Harris Army that we greatly and so fondly talk about, and then we will get into it. So we have Dark Sun G says, "Hey, David and Jack, did you hear about Mendy from Man City?" Yes, we did. He is gone again, not for hospital reasons. Yeah, we know. What is it with players with crimes this season? They should be ashamed. Sigurdsson the same. I know. It's yeah. Look, I'm not even going to give too much time to it, to be honest with you, because it's just horrible. And at least Everton doesn't have him to use again this season. Yeah, well, they'd want to be rethinking everything if they put him back in the team. Paul G says, does Nuno change his Premier League winning side straight off? Kane would be wanting to get his goal tally going. Lucas has a rocky one at Wolves. If there is a change, 4-0 against what form? Come on, you Spurs. Absolutely love it. Big up, Paul. Look, we'll be answering all of them questions. Don't worry, my man. Stay tuned. We will be answering them all. Thomas Abrahamson says, leave Kane out of the team. I don't have the stats, but can't remember him scoring many Premier League goals in August. Love the fact he stayed and how Ronaldo snubbed the Oil City for United. Come on, you Spurs. What I will say, Thomas, is he broke that last season under Mourinho. He got a few goals in August last season, if I remember correctly. So that's no longer one of the Harry Kane curses. Don't worry about that. And yeah, I'm absolutely delighted to see Ronaldo go to United. When I seen him go to City, I'm sitting there thinking, surely United are not going to let this happen, and they didn't. So fair play. It's a good bit of business. Zoe says, "Evening all, big up Zoe. I hope things are good."
Big up Zoe.
Who else have we got? We've got Dtrex Kane here. Says, "I hope Hill and Kane start. I would bench Ali and Bergwijn." Interesting. Again, look, we'll get into who we want to start. Catman Jess, and actually, I do want, before we do get into it, I do want to get Will's thoughts on Brian Hill as well. But Catman Jess says, "Big up Harris Army, Will Stewart. What's up?" Big fan here, Catman Jess. Big yourself up. Mr. House says 4-0 win tomorrow. I'm loving the optimism. Kev Williams has gone 3-0.
Love you, Kev.
Oh, he's gone 3-0. And Dtrex Kane says, "And we'll remember what I said about Brian Hill." I don't know what sort of thing you and Dtrex have going on there, but we'll let Will in now in 2 seconds.
I don't know either, but
I don't remember.
I guess we'll learn.
Nurse says, "Big up Irish Hotspur on the panel. Good to see you, Nurse. Good to see you." JTHFC, which says, "We'll be in the South Stand tomorrow. Come on, you Spurs." Good man. Enjoy it, lad. And do me a favour, actually. Just make sure you sing extra hard tomorrow when it's about Harry Kane. Just like for me, get my lungs, get my vocals in your mouth, lad. And, air them out to Harry Kane for me. I would appreciate that, J-Boy. Big yourself up. Toffee20 says, "Coys." Harry Fishcake says, "Big up, lads. Big yourself up." William Kelly says, what do you guys think of all these young players we are getting? And what I will say on that is there's a guy that was brought in called Chris Perkins. And he was at Derby and then he was at Everton, but they've brought him in. And this guy is in charge of bringing in the top prospects. I think it's from 16 to 21 from Europe into Tottenham Hotspur. So there's a clear plan there. And he brought through a few at Derby. Two that I know off the top of my head is Jayden Bogle, then he got his move. And Jason Knight, the young Irish kid who's absolutely thriving in the Derby team as well. He brought them in, and there is more. But this is what this guy's job is. So I would expect to see maybe more of this. And I wouldn't put them all down as Paratici signings because this guy was brought in to do that job. And when they do come in, then he will come up with a program that's best designed to get them into the first team. Dan N says 3 small games are the ones make or break a season. We need to get 3 points against these teams. We're better than 100%. I couldn't agree more. That's the way I always believe, my man. Aaron Dove says, I'd love to see Brian coming on if we're 2 or 3 up in the last 20 minutes. No pressure on the young lad. That's a very good point. Dark Sun G says, last season we were only 4 points after 3 games. And if we beat Watford, we have 9 points. Way better start for us, even though our fixtures were harder this season. 4-0. Come on, you Spurs. Goal difference for the win. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. We have David in as well. Best name on the planet as well. It's the name of Kings, name of champion. Says, hi, Dave, Jack, Will. Sonny needs to score for my fantasy Premier League tomorrow. So 100%.
David. Hope he does, David. You know, honestly, I had to do, like a season-long fantasy team, David. And I will say, you know, I had Sonny taken away from me in the draft. So had to be relegated to a different striker. So, David, I hope he does score for you because every time I see Sonny score, I'm just thinking, oh, that could have been my pick.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Well, guys, look, make sure you don't forget to smash that like button on the stream. Make sure you smash that subscribe if you are new. The big push 4 or 5K is on. We are well and truly moving. There is oil in this machine, so keep putting the oil in and keep smashing that subscribe, guys. Also, get your super chats in, guys. It is a great, great help towards the channel. A massive help towards me and Jack. You see the likes of stats with Jack and all the equipment we've got for that. And we are putting it back into the channel as well, guys. So make sure you do get the super chats in. It is a great support. And as well, just sometimes there can be 200-300 people in here, sometimes a bit less. But if you want to jump the queue and you want your comment read straight out, it is the way to go, 100%. But look, we will get. I just want to ask Will his thoughts on Brian Hill because I know he had a lot to say when this player was signed. And then maybe he can tell us about the thing with Dietrich Kane as well, and then pass it back to me, Will, and then I'm going to get into everything people need to know before we do hand over to Jack. So, Will, Brian Hill, what do you make of his performance on midweek, my man?
No, at the midweek he was great. Some of his off the ball movements, some of the runs that he were making, I thought were brilliant. Now, my only caveat to that is, I mean, you guys know me, I'm a fairly level headed guy. Is can he replicate that at a Premier League level, right? That's the only thing that I'm looking for. I don't know if he's necessarily, even though I think that he's potentially, far better than Lamela. We all know what my feelings were on Lamela. But Lamela was a ready first team player, right? He could start if he needed to start. He could come on if he needed to come on. I don't know if Brian Hill is that yet. Hopefully he becomes that. But we haven't seen that yet, so we haven't seen him in the league yet. So I don't know if that's necessarily something that Nuno sees him as right now. But no, it was a great performance from him on Thursday for sure.
I think there's maybe a little hint of Luka Modric in there, maybe a love child between Luka Modric and Lionel Messi. Do you think maybe I am going too far into the extreme with?
I think you're doing it too early. Whether it's too far or not, I don't know, but I think it's a bit early to do that. But no, I mean, he definitely looks like he has a decent footballing IQ, and even if the skill is not quite there 100%, he definitely looks like he's one for the future. Yeah,
100%. No, I fully agree with you. Look, Will, you know me, I can't help but get carried away. When I see some dazzling performances, especially since we've been starved over the last few years. So, 100%, my man. Bob Spur says, Gill looked great against a pub team named after a chocolate. We'd love to see him in the league, as think he has great potential. Yeah, look, that's what I was trying to say the other night. Same as Vinicius, my man. You know what I mean? Same as Vinicius. But I do think Gil maybe has done more in that game than what Vinicius done in most of the Europa League games. You know, Gil did look bright, I have to say. But big up Bob Spur. Look, I agree with you. He has great potential and he does need to do it in the league. So, look, we'll wait and see. I hope he does. It's all good for Tottenham. But I think he will. I think he's going to be a special talent. I think, and I remember saying to you, Jack, as well before, you know, when looking at him, I did say that maybe he could end up potentially playing in that middle and end up a bit like Luka Modric. Because when Luka Modric first came to the club, he did play more or less a bit further up the field in that sort of free role where he was picking up spaces, dictating the game. So hopefully he can do it. And then obviously Luka Modric dropped deeper as the years went on. But look, hopefully Brian Hill can reach that level, because Luka Modric was absolutely brilliant to watch, I have to say. But look, we are going to get into it. Everything you need to know. Give me 1 second, guys. I put the wrong copy down there. I do have everything written out. My bad. This is an amateur move by me. It's the effective will on today.
No, but I do want to tell the people out there watching, please do get all your super chats, even though this isn't my channel, because if you put in super chats, it makes me less negative. So go ahead and do that. If you don't want to see negative will, make sure you get your super chats in.
So guys,
the difference between Brian Hill being Modric and not, you know, practically.
Exactly.
100%. But look, guys, if you want to see, you know, Will as positive as me and even come up with even more absurd and ridiculous nicknames than me, you know, get them super chats in, guys, and let's see what nicknames we can get out of them. But look, guys, everything you do need to know, of course, we are at home tomorrow. It is a 2 p.m. kickoff. You know, you can watch. Andre Mariner actually is the man in the middle. He is the referee tomorrow. He's averaging so far two cards per game. But look, if you do want to watch the game tomorrow, we are actually back on TV. We are on Fraud Sports. So you can watch us there tomorrow. But look, instead of watching Fraud Sports for the pre-match, get over onto We Are Tottenham TV and watch me on the pre-match pump-up, hosting it, bringing on loads of whoever wants to come on, whatever guests, and just getting their thoughts before the game. And it is definitely something that gets you pumped up for the game, 100%, especially when I'm in a jolly mood like I am today. You know, look, Kane is back, so it's absolutely brilliant. So you're going to see me in full form tomorrow. Don't you worry, guys. So make sure you do get over there and check out the pre-match pump-up starting at 12:30. So, guys, I'd appreciate all the support and the love over there. And after that, I do have to speak to Matty actually about the watch-alongs, but I'm pretty sure there is one tomorrow. So I will be speaking to Matty Hayes about that and seeing what the story is with a watch-along. We have a super chat in here. Bob Spurs already. Anything to see a less negative Will. Big love. Absolutely love it. So, Will,
I'm already smiling.
Now that you're not allowed to be negative, do you think that Brian Hill is a cross between the love child of Luka Modric and Lionel Messi?
No, I don't.
That didn't work. You're going to have to.
I'm smiling.
You're going to have to.
We're getting there.
£2.50, Bob. So
yeah. In order for me to do that, it's got to be like around like 20 pounds or something like that.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
2 pound gets a smile. 5 pound gets, you know, a head nod and a smile.
You should put that on your page, man. All the videos. So you should.
Unfortunately, Ahmad Hussein, it's check out David, like you said before. Check out We Are Tottenham TV for the pre-match pump up, and there should be also watch along as well on Matt Hayes' channel, where David also might feature. I know that as well, but also big up to Mr. DP. That's a great comment right there.
100%. Fraud Sports, whether to watch a channel about Arteta. Yeah, look, definitely he's going to dominate some of the commentary tomorrow at some stage. They're definitely going to be digging into Arsenal. That probably will be fun to watch. But Imad, look, I don't do Spurs watch-alongs on the channels because I've committed to Matty Hayes from the very start with all the watch-alongs, my man. Look, if something were to change, we'll wait and see. But look, we're committed to Matt Hayes, and I'm going to be doing the watch-alongs over there. But one thing I will say is I will be doing an Ireland watch-along over the international break. So if you want to watch me be so frustrated watching my country, you know, it's definitely the place to tune in because we don't really create many chances. So I would really appreciate people coming in and just asking me random questions to kind of keep me awake as well. And then we'll take the super chat from Dark Sun G, and then we're going to hand over to Jacko, and we're going to let him in with some of these magnificent questions. Dark Sun G says, so tomorrow is the return of Harry Kane, King of the Lane, best number 10 in world football. He wants a hair prediction. I'm looking forward for the first 4 this season.
Yeah,
look, 100%. If I'm thinking correctly, I think Harry Kane might have a bit of a trim for tomorrow, first Premier League start. He's going to come out looking sharp. But look, for me personally, like I keep saying, there's no better sight on a Sunday afternoon than watching Harry Kane just glide across the pitch at Tottenham Hotspur, across that green turf with the wind just flowing through his hair, and it's just sitting perfectly, the right amount of bounce. He just looks sharp, and then seeing that number 10 on his back, seeing him about to pull the peg, you know what I mean, and absolutely unleash one. There's no better sights, my man. But look, mate, I'll be honest, if there is no watch along tomorrow, get my Harry Kane hair prediction over on We Are Tottenham TV. I'll give it to you there as well if there is none. Or I'll put up a little clip here and give everyone my Harry Kane hair prediction. Maybe I might do that. A little 2-minute clip, Harry Kane hair prediction, and I want all yours in as well. But Jack, have you anything to say to Dark Sun G before we crack into it?
The only thing I can add to the Harry Kane hair prediction is, it seemed like David in the Pashos game, he seemed to have, a bit of a Floridian, kind of bleach, to the blonde hair. It seems like, it was a little bit lighter on top. So it seemed like he probably wasn't wearing much of a baseball cap or a flat cap even, David. It seemed like he was on vacation. He let the sun, kind of bleach it to a different color. So I will say, Dark Sun G, I think it's just going to be flowing like it was last time, like David was describing, but maybe expect a bit more of that bleachy, blonde than maybe you're used to.
Yeah, 100%. But look, I'll definitely tune in, Dark Sun G. I'll just tune in. I will put out a 5-minute clip on this channel, a 2-minute clip, Harry Kane hair prediction. So you will get one tomorrow. Don't you worry about that, my man. Don't you worry about that. And guys, keep getting the super chats in. I think the next move to do on this channel is, if we get enough super chats in, is maybe send a box of flat caps to Tottenham Hotspur training stadium for all the players and management team, and let's see how many of them wear them on a match day. So I think that's the next stunt we might pull. Guys, if you want us to be able to do that, it's going to be a bit expensive. So get the super chats in, and that'll be the next stunt. And then we'll leave a little message with our names and everyone else's name that donated to the cause, and we'll give them to Tottenham Hotspur, and let's see if we get a nice thank you, and if we get some of the players and the management staff wearing them. So, guys, I think that's the next stunt that we're going to pull here on the Irish Hotspur. But, Jacko, back to you, my man. Let's take it away.
No, definitely. Will, I mean, it's kind of an odd stat, for Nuno, but he might be, if he were to win tomorrow, the first manager since, Arthur Rowe in 1949 to win 3 games off the bounce in his first season at the club. I mean, if Nuno were to pull this off, I mean, what would be kind of maybe your opinions on Nuno? Is it maybe rushing too much into it? I mean, what would be your opinion on Nuno? Let's say if he were to pull off another win tomorrow.
No, I mean, I've been behind Nuno since April, since Jose got sacked last year. So I've never been, in fact, I don't remember any other person who was before Nuno at that point in time. I mean, he definitely, like, if you were to put me between like Nuno and Conte, I'd probably choose Conte just based on his pedigree. But I've always liked Nuno. Interesting fact about Nuno: he's never managed a club and not gotten them into a European spot. So even his first coaching job, he took a team to the Europa League, which was the first time in their history that they've ever been in a European competition. So no, I think Nuno is a great manager, and I totally expected this. I mean, I said it even back when the hashtag No to Nuno was trending, that I felt Nuno would be a manager that would, get us back into the top 6 and keep us there. I don't necessarily think that, I don't think I'm adventurous enough right now based on the window that we've had to say that we're going to get top 4, but I definitely think Nuno's gonna get us, back up at least into, 5th or 6th.
Yeah, I do remember that. You were certainly, ahead of the Nuno, train, ahead of a lot of us, and as well, maybe a bit of a Nuno expert, ahead of a lot of us. But David, I mean, what are your thoughts, in terms of Nuno, if he were to achieve maybe this feat tomorrow, where he would be maybe the first man since Arthur Rowe in 1949 to get 3 wins off the bounce in his first season?
Yeah, look, first of all, if he equals that record, that's unbelievable. And he could even go further and go for 4, with Palace after the international break. Look, for me, and if he does do it, I just want to be the first one to congratulate him. So I am going to congratulate him ahead of time, because I am so confident we're going to absolutely sting the Hornets tomorrow. So look, for me, Jacko, I'll be honest with you. I actually, I'll be honest, he's done better than what I actually thought he would do. For me, I was actually willing to write off the first 6 games, lad. Looking at the fixtures, City, you're thinking, don't fancy us right now, especially off the back of last season. Arsenal, they turned us over. You're kind of like, are we up for the fight there after last season? You look at Chelsea and you look at the players that they brought in, you're like, don't fancy ourselves there. And you look at Wolves as being a bit of a bogey team. Watford, we failed to beat. In the last season, they were in the Premier League over 2 games. And then Palace, they broke my heart last season. So I was looking at the first 6 games and I'm a bit like, it's a dodgy start. So I'm willing to write them off and judge them after that. Did I expect to be sitting here talking about being top of the league tomorrow? No, I didn't. But one thing I will say is I'll take it, and I'm absolutely delighted. And yes, I am living in the moment. But look, Liverpool dropped points, Chelsea dropped points, City have dropped points because we made them. Oil Money FC, by the way. Pep got his head waxed by the Irish Hotspur. Absolutely love it. But look, for me, Jacko, he's done way better than what I expected so far. And for me, it gives me renewed optimism this season. I firmly believe we can get top 4. We get a nice little run of games after the first 6 games together. Get them out of the way. We come out of there with, say, 10 to 12 points, maybe a bit wishful thinking we will get some out of the Chelsea game. But we come out of the first 6 games with 10 points or 12 points, right? Nearly maximum points. You're going into an easier period of games. You've already got 3 of the top teams out of the way. You've already got 2 or 3 of your bogey teams out of the way. So you should be picking up more points there. So I'm hoping for a very positive and optimistic season. I really am. And then, the reason why I say that as well is because with the likes of Sanchez, Dyer, even Dele Alli, for me, I thought they were lost causes. I thought they were done. For me, look, Dele Alli, I'm still going to give him to January because the reason why I say that is because first time games under Jose, he done well, and then he just went off the boil. But Dyer has improved, Sanchez has improved, and look, they've obviously been helped by Tanganga coming in at right back. Regular not being skinned as easy out at left back, with the obviously more bite in the midfield with Skip and Ali even getting in doing the work rate, a lot more work rate, and they have been helped by that. But we're talking about 2 wins against City and Wolves, 2 bogey teams. We haven't even seen Harry Kane. We haven't seen, Romero, came on for a couple of minutes against Man City, but that doesn't count. Romero still has to get into that team. Brian Hill still has to get into this team, and he will get in. We have competition for places now. You have Lo Celso on the fringes.
Gio, has barely gotten into the team when you think about it. Yeah.
More competition for places. I would like another right back. I would want more competition there. But then you look over at left back. You have Sessegnon there. You have, as much as it's going to kill me to say it, Ben Davies, and it looks like he is going to be a part of the squad as a squad player. Then you still have Roden, who's out injured, to still try and fight to get into the first team. I get it. I would like more signings. I would. But right now, you have to say, we are looking pretty, and Nuno has done a very good job right now.
I think that's well summarized, David. Well summarized. And, now maybe moving on to maybe a bit of a problem that maybe we've had maybe this season. Will, what do you maybe make of, the idea that maybe Spurs have been actually the second lowest team this season in terms of total possession, percentage of possession this season? Do you feel like it can be solved by just moving somebody into that number 10 role, into that cam role, like maybe Brian Hill did on Thursday night? Maybe we put Dele Alli there. Maybe we put Brian Hill there for the next game. How do you feel like we can fix that problem, with having such low possession figures in our first 2 Premier League games?
Yeah, I don't know if we've necessarily even played in a formation that even utilizes a cam, right? We've been playing in a 4-3-3 most of the time, or 3-4-3.
Definitely in the Prem we haven't, yeah.
And neither of those formations, utilize a cam. For me, I don't know if there's enough creativity moving forward in that midfield. It's solid defensively, but I don't know if in a 4-3-3, the only thing that I see that is frustrating is that we're relying on those balls in over the top, right, from Romero or Sanchez or Dyer or something like that. Because while Horbier is a strong, midfield general, I wouldn't necessarily classify him as being super creative, right? So he that's the the thing for me that really makes me wonder how we're going to improve the possession side of things. And to be honest with you, Nuno isn't famous for high possession-based football in the first place. Even in his build-up, he tends to build up through the wings rather than through the midfield. So, it'd just be interesting to see what we do. But if our defense is sorted out, if he's getting a shift out of the people who are playing in that back line, it hasn't mattered so far.
Yeah, that's fair.
But Watford isn't a slouch team, and Dennis has kind of been a little bit on fire. I think they've scored in every game they've had so far this season. So, it's going to be tough, I think, to keep a clean sheet tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be a said and done deal.
Yeah, that's a fair point there at the end. Yeah, it won't be as much of a given. David, though, I mean, how are we going to be able to fix maybe this possession problem, considering that we actually might, play another team? Maybe we'll have a lot of possession against this team, Watford, but, do you feel like, we'll struggle maybe a bit, considering we've been a team, without the ball, these past 2 Premier League games? We're going to have to learn to win with the ball for the majority of the game?
Yeah, look, I think these are the games where you have to learn how to win with the ball, with the possession. They make these games easier. You know what I mean? The last thing you want to do is give these teams hope, because they do get up for it then when they sense the hope, when they sense the upset. 9 times out of 10, these teams get up for it and really push for it. So for me, look, I do personally think that for these sort of games, we should be changing to a 4-2-3-1. Because, look, even if you have a partnership of Højbjerg and Skip, or Højbjerg and the way Dele Alli has been played, you know what I mean? You muck in, you make yourself horrible, you protect your back four and let them go and win the ball. And then, especially in Watford's case, because one thing I noticed is once you get by that midfield, they're very slow to get back and close the space. Yeah. Very, very slow to get back and close the space. So if we have that person, whether it be Brian Hill or Dele Alli or even a Lo Celso, operating in them areas like Brian Hill did during the week, because I know the formation during the week was put out as a 5-3-2. But when I was looking at it, in possession, we were actually playing a 4-2-3-1 with Brian Hill floating in that free roll in around Harry Kane, with Session high up left, and I think it was Mora high up right. I can't even remember now, but I think it was. And then, so for me, I do think a 4-2-3-1 would suit the system. And maybe looking at it, especially with Harry Kane back into the team, it suits him as well. But not only that, I do, in a way, if we can have these formations, or even in games against Chelsea, where you can switch and have that option between a 5-3-2 or a 4-2-3-1, I think it really does help us out massively, because then you can switch into your formations depending on how the game is going, which would be a massive plus. But for me, I do think playing a cam probably would solve that possession issue, because you're not just hitting straight to Kane. You're not hitting straight in behind for Son and Berg or Son and Lucas. You have someone else that you can just play the ball into, that's in these spaces, picking up these pockets of spaces, and it gets you up further up the field. And then either he can play it back to the centre midfielders and play it out wide, or get Kane in behind. So I do think it would solve a massive issue, because right now, when we are playing the tree, we're getting the ball into the tree. But then the only option they have is to either go back or go long. So if you do have someone just sitting in that pocket of spaces, it means you can transition then, and then start keeping possession and playing in the opposition third.
Wow, really good point from both of you. I will say really good points from both of you. I will maybe add that, maybe with, a number 10, maybe we will be able to keep possession, but it's also, maybe like a lot of people are saying in the chat, maybe it's not also entirely necessary. It's just maybe, a bit of the movement that we need to maybe improve. We just need to be able to show for each other maybe a bit more, I would say, in the likes of Dele Alli and Højbjerg. I think Skippy, has done maybe all right in terms of keeping possession. He hasn't done anything spectacular, but I think it is more maybe the burden is on Højbjerg and Dele to maybe figure something out in terms of keeping possession. And Højbjerg, I will say statistically, this season has done quite fine in terms of keeping possession. It's maybe Dele that needs to maybe roam into that number 10 a bit more and just maybe do what Brian Hill was doing. But then again, that's not what we've asked of him this season. We've asked of him to be a bit more defensively conscious. So it's a tough fix. It's a tough problem to fix. And so hopefully Nuno will figure it out. Maybe the Pashos game was his attempt, a trial run that maybe fixing that. So who knows? But now with Harry Kane back as well, we certainly will be able to hold on to the ball a bit more, I would say. But everyone is, kind of looking forward to maybe, this Kane, appearance tomorrow. Will, do you feel like maybe Kane could maybe fix, that kind of a possession problem now that we have him in the side. He can drop deep, he can kind of, link up play, maybe switch the ball a bit. Do you feel like he might even just solve a bit of the possession problems we've been having?
Yes, for sure. Especially if we're playing like a Liverpool style 4-3-3, right? Where Firmino tends to play, basically, Firmino in Liverpool's 4-3-3 system is utilized as a cam, right? So he's the person who drops deeper, collects the ball from the defensive midfielders, turns and then plays into, Mane and Mohamed Salah. But the only problem is our right side is not as strong. Like as you guys know from, especially David from being in the chat groups that we're in. I was calling for a right winger this window, and that hasn't happened yet. But for sure, I think that there's that too. Or like, a 3-5-2 utilizes a cam too, and that's kind of what we were playing on Thursday night. And in a position, that with the outside backs getting wide, that center midfielder in a 3-5-2 is a center attacking midfielder and or a center forward type player who's kind of free to roam left or right or get back in behind and attack. It just depends on how Watford's going to play. Are they going to be are they going to come at us, or are they going to sit back with 5 men behind the ball and like PDF did and try to make us break them down? I think if they're setting back, then it might be a good idea to play Bryan Hill. When he has time, he seems to make some runs in behind that. I mean, that first run in, I think
he starts games well. Yeah, he starts games well. From
that first run in behind that he did with the pass back into the penalty spot that didn't necessarily lead to a goal, but it was a brilliant run, right? I mean, that was nobody really saw it coming. I mean, he was way onside. I mean, he was almost even as deep as their center defensive midfielder, and he just continued in on his run and tore a hole right through their back line. But granted, too, you have to understand that especially even lower teams in the table in the Premier League, their defense is far more structured than I think that Portuguese side was. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of different options that we can run through. I still think that there's holes in the side, but I think we're looking good enough to compete. Are we looking good enough to compete further down the road when injuries and fixtures start tightening up? Maybe not. But right now, at the start of the season, I think we'll have a good run.
Yeah, and then maybe just quickly as well, do you feel like maybe Nuno can maybe somehow find that similar relationship that Sonny and Harry Kane had last season? Because last season, obviously, they combined more than they ever had before. Do you feel like they'll be able to, continue that this season under Nuno, or do you feel like that was just something special from last season?
I think that deals with more how Mourinho tends to build up. He tends to build up through the middle, whereas Nuno tends to build up along the outsides. Could be. It just depends on how deep Harry Kane drops in to pick up the ball, I think. I think you'll probably see more, and this is just going off how the tactics that Nuno used at Wolves. It was more of his right-sided and left-sided center backs in that back three who were playing balls, into Neto or Neves, who was playing, and then they would, bring one into Jimenez, or Jimenez would play into them.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, if he's sitting in the middle a little bit deeper and playing people in behind, should be great. It's just we don't really. I haven't seen enough of Nuno yet to really get a grasp on what his identity is here.
We've only seen one HK performance really too. So how would we even know he's going to use Harry Kane? Yeah.
Yeah, and then too, I mean, even how he played, last week. I was expecting us to have a little bit more possession than we did against Wolves. To be honest with you, I didn't expect us to soak up near as much. He knew them, a little bit better than us, so maybe he knew what he needed to do. But I think we were kind of fortunate to come away with 3 points last week. But hey, who cares how we get them? As long as we get them, right?
Yeah, definitely. David, what do you think? I mean, Sonny, Watford, it's kind of one of his favorite teams to play against. Harry Kane is now back in the lineup. Do you feel like Sonny and Harry Kane can kind of, find that relationship from last season under Nuno, or do you feel like that was kind of just something unique to last season?
No, look, I do think last season that, maybe Kane and Son were the focus of a Jose Mourinho team going forward. That definitely helped them. But look, it's helped us in a way going forward because they're always going to keep that special relationship, like the movement, the passing between each other. They're always going to know, what sort of balls each other like. I know that some people are going to take that up wrong in the comments, but you know what I mean. Like passing wise and sort of stuff like that. So for me, look, I do think that partnership is definitely going to be there. I really do believe it. And for me, I can't wait to see it flourish this season. They're only a couple off beating the all-time Premier League record between Drogba and I think it's Lampard, the link-up they had. So they're only, I think, a couple of goals off that. I'm going to say 8. That's the one that comes to mind. I'm going to say 8. So for me, they're definitely going to want that record as well. And look, I just can't wait to see the partnership start tomorrow. I really do believe it. Look, Son has 5 goals in 9 games versus Watford. It's the third most team after City and Southampton that he loves scoring against. And look, for me, the only thing is with Harry Kane is tomorrow I don't really want to see him dropping deep because these are games where we need him in that box. We need that vocal point in the box at times, to get crosses in, right. Someone to target, someone to play off. So I hope he just finds that right mixture between dropping deep and, staying up and around the box. But then again, him staying up front depends on what sort of chances we can create him, from coming from the midfield, coming from the wingers. So, look, for me, I definitely see the partnership flourishing. I think it's just telepathic at this stage. They train together week in, week out as well. So, for me, I definitely think they're going to keep it. And it's a benefit to Tottenham. We're going to see it blossom from here on out.
Yeah, and they're 2 world-class players. So, honestly, I mean, I think they're fully capable of, connecting, telepathically, like you're saying. But William Kelly with a super chat here. And then I think David is going to just get us with a little bit of team news. For it as well for the upcoming fixture. But William Kelly saying Skippy has been a huge difference in that midfield. Yeah, William, let me know. I feel like Skippy has absolutely brought out maybe the best in Højbjerg. Last season, we were practically asking Højbjerg, play the position of 2 players. We were asking almost too much of him. It almost even felt like he should have been paid more, even I would say, for what we were asking of him, especially he almost played nearly, played well over almost like 60 games or something like last season, including the Euros, of course. It really is just like what that guy had to go through is quite unbelievable. And once he was in the Euros with Denmark, once he had someone that was also very defensively minded, someone who liked to get stuck in Thomas Delaney from Dortmund, he seemed to just have the best come out of him all of a sudden, despite us thinking he would be really tired, for the Euros. And now that he's back, fully fit again, fully refreshed, having, the Skippy, maybe the English version of Thomas Delaney, probably I would say better now that he has him next to him. I mean, it's just we're bringing out the best in Højbjerg. So I will say, William Kelly, you're totally right. Now seeing Skippy like this, honestly, has been a huge difference.
Yeah, look, and for me, William, first of all, I appreciate the support, my man. Big yourself up. Everyone else, make sure you do. There's 175 watching right now. Make sure you do smash that like button. Make sure you smash the subscribe button if you're new. And like William Kelly and like Dark Sun G has already done, guys, get your support in for the channel. It's greatly appreciated. And plus, it skips your head in the chat as well. It means we get straight to your comment. But look, for me, what Skip has done is he's brought that love back for the game, that passion. But he's also brought competition for places in that midfield because Ndombele, now he's not a part of Nuno's plans. He's not just going to walk in like he thinks he deserves to, even though he's not putting it in training. You don't have, Harry Stinks in there, which is a huge plus, just getting his pocket picked and giving away possession. You're not looking at brick wall Musa Sissoko running about with the ball just bouncing off from left, right, and centre. You know what I mean? So, look, Skip coming in, it means we don't have to rely on people that just aren't capable of playing the position. I've always said, I would rather a midfielder that excels, that does everything right and everything well than someone that excels in one aspect of the game. And Skip is one of them midfielders that does everything right, everything well. And then Ndombele is one of them people that thrives on a certain aspect of the game. And the difference is you're getting is consistency with Skip being able to do everything competently. And for me, look, it's not only that, but he gets stuck in. He's a Tottenham boy. He has that grit between his teeth. He wants to be out there in front of the Spurs crowd. He relishes it. You have Tanganga also bringing the same, giving his chance, coming in, bringing the same. So they're bringing that natural passion, intensity, desire to be on their best game every single week. And I truly believe they're probably starting to. That's That's what the rest of the team is starting to feed off now. They're getting that love back for the club, getting that desire for the 3 points, the love for the 3 points. And players like that, because they're so raw and they're coming in with all that energy and they love the club and they want to make their name here. For me, I think it's been a huge plus, and it's probably given the rest of them a kick up the arse, along obviously with the competition that's been brought in. But Skip has been absolutely brilliant. He's getting stuck in. He's doing exactly what we want. And what I love about him, Jack, is he's proactive. He's not reactive. So instead of waiting for a pass to happen and then go out and close them down, he's already out there. But before they even get a chance to take control, he has his big feet in there trying to dislodge it from them, break the ball up, break the play up. But when he does get the ball, he's confident on it. He will play the right pass. He will play the way he's facing. And I absolutely love the kid. I love it. Jack, I was calling for him not to be loaned out again in January, and that we call him back and we get him into this team and provide competition, because I'm sick of looking at the likes of some of them players that I mentioned previously. And this guy has grabbed the jersey, and it's all we want from these players. When you're given the opportunity, I want you snatching that jersey and putting your name down. And that's exactly what he's done, and I absolutely love it. And look, we will let Will come in on it as well before I give the team news. I think it's only fair.
I mean, yeah, Will, what do you think of, Skippy? Has he been just like the change in the midfield, the huge difference that we've been waiting for?
Yeah, I think from a defensive standpoint, sure. I think that's one of the reasons why that we're not leaking as many goals as we did last season. I think Højbjerg doesn't have to work as hard. He's not doing 2 or 3 guys' jobs all at one time, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely helped out. I also do think that the fact that we're playing, 2 more defensive-minded midfielders in a 4-3-3 system, that's a little bit why we're struggling with possession. So against teams that we don't need to sit back and kind of soak up pressure, I think it might be a little bit more, I don't know, wise to even maybe see, like, if say we're going to play 3 at the back or something like that with like a 3-5-2, maybe have Dele and Hill in that midfield with Højbjerg, with
Right.
Matt Doherty and Reguilon playing wingbacks with Son and Kane up top, or even a Mora Dele midfield, or a Lo Celso Dele midfield, or we have a lot of options there that can be a little bit more attacking, and I think that too that it can give some people some time and some space to get some rest. Højbjerg shouldn't be starting 50-plus games this season this year and playing 90 minutes of all of those. So I think those are some options that we have. But yeah, he's definitely been a good person to have when we need more defensive support.
Well
I
said,
don't.
well
He's
said.
definitely not super. I don't think he's super creative. I mean, he can have a ball here and there, not in behind, but I don't think that's necessarily what he's looking for, right? So
No, it's not maybe even what's being asked of him, even maybe at the moment as well.
Yeah.
But also well said. I would say good context. I would say added to Skippy. David, I felt like you maybe had some team news, right? Maybe for.
Yeah, so with Tottenham, look, it's Joe Rodon's still out. He's getting back. He is back in training, but he's not 100% fit. Nuno said he won't be in the squad, along with Cameron Carter-Vickers. Not that that's a miss anyway. Interestingly, he did say a little something on Romero, that Romero did have a little something coming out of the Pacos game, which said he should be fine to play tomorrow. So whether he will hold him back or not, I don't know. I think if he's fit, I would love to see him. That's me personally. For Watford, look, they're missing Ben Foster. He had a hamstring injury there during the week. Joe Pedro is out. Shaloba is out. Dan Gosling is out. Kuka then faces a late fitness test. And this is a guy that Jack does like. So we hope that he is out, because Jack is never too far wrong when it comes to players. Look, the rest of the players I mentioned there, not really anybody of note for Watford, to be honest with you, really. João Pedro, the young Brazilian, not really made his mark. Shaloba, that's the guy, 26. Everyone still thinks he's a young lad. Never really fulfilled his potential. Dan Gosling, I don't know how many clubs I've seen him at. So, look, not really any players to mention there. But, Jack, that is all the team news, basically, my man.
Appreciate it, David. Just a little, caveat there for everybody, just to make sure, you guys got some of the team news, before you wake up tomorrow, before, enjoy your day tomorrow. But Will,
Did
what
Ben
do you
Foster pull his hamstring riding his bicycle or what?
During some of the interviews.
Probably did on his cycle after someone to get an interview with, I'd say, cycling down after one of the players driving by or something. You never know with that guy. I have to say, though, it is a pretty good concept he's come up with, but look, some of it's okay. Some of it's okay. It's a good idea for him. It gives him something to do when he's retired. But look, I suppose we'll move on to some of the questions then. It's back to some more of the questions, Jacob.
Yeah. Definitely. And Will, in terms of, Christian Romero, do you feel like he might be starting tomorrow? And if you do think so, I mean, who might be, dropped out, instead of, or who he might replace, actually? Who do you think he will replace if he were to start tomorrow?
Well, I mean, I think that there's a way that you can really kind of work all three of them in together. So this is what I've said for a while.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. So if you're playing 3-5-2 in an attacking form with instead of, two holding midfielders with one, maybe give Skip a break or give Højbjerg a break, or I would say you start Højbjerg and then bring Skip in later to give Højbjerg a little bit of a rest.
Yeah.
And then that way you can kind of work him in, and you're basically giving Dyer or Sanchez the opportunity to make a mistake. Then you swap Romero if he plays well in for one of them, and it's justified, right? You're not taking one of them out to do whatever, and it just really kind of depends on what the statisticians have seen Watford play and how they've predicted that they're going to line up and push forward. I haven't watched a lot of Watford over the last 2 weeks, to be honest with you, so I don't know. I couldn't really say that what they're going to do, but yeah, I mean, yeah, Dyer. I think because you have Romero kind of playing as a sweeper in between Dyer and Sanchez, with Højbjerg, helping out, you can still be fairly defensive and or protect that back line and still be, allow, some people to get up higher up the pitch, maybe give Dele a little bit more license to roam or Lucas Moura a little more license to roam in behind and kind of make up for the fact that we don't really have an actual right winger right now, right? So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in a way, maybe this wouldn't be a bad game, maybe to test out that kind of attacking three in the back formation that you were speaking of. But David, do you feel like maybe we might see Kuti, playing tomorrow? Our new Argentinian center back. Do you feel like he might be featuring, and if he were to feature for you, David, who might be left out, or maybe would we do all three, like maybe Dave or Will is saying?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'm going to get to all of that now. I'm going to give my thoughts 100%. I don't exactly think along the lines of Will, but I will share my thoughts and just see what people think. Dan SR says, Watford fan here. Good luck tomorrow, guys, and congrats on the channel or on the great season start. Big yourself up, man. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Someone asked there who is Watford's backup goalkeeper. He's not backup. He has actually been number one, and it's Bergwijn, the Austrian, isn't he, Jack? I think he's Austrian.
He played for them in the Euros. Simply, I think it's had something to do with the Austrian number one not being available, and so then he was then featured. And he also, I think the reason he even featured because I think Watford's kind of a tail end of the season, he was actually the one preferred over Foster. So I read up on, I think, before the Euros. So yeah. Bachmann, I think I can't really rate him as a keeper, but all I can say is that he's been under good form for Watford, and then also you even feature as the number one for Austria recently, so he's had good experience recently.
Love it. So there you are, guys. There's the lowdown on Bachmann. And Dan SR, the Watford fan, says, do you think you'll get our boy Sarr? We've put on an 80 million price tag on him. Look, what I'll say to you is we don't want your boy Sarr, not for 80 million. We got our own Sarr, and he's coming next season. We're just leaving him out on loan just to nurture, and then he'll be back, and then we'll show you what Sarr is all about, my man. Absolutely love it. Now, big yourself up, Dan, but I really do hope, I'll be calling in the people to come in and take out the hornet's nest. So hopefully, we do a number on you. And Dan, it looks like, your guy Troy Deeney is about to leave Watford. How sad are you about that? Let me know, my man. But look, Jack,
I'd rather snag Dennis off of him, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah,
See, Dennis,
two very different stages of their career for sure. Yeah.
but look, Dennis is only joined, so we definitely won't get him. But look, Troy Deeney, if people want a backup striker, it wouldn't be bad at Tottenham for a season, maybe.
Not bad for the 80th minute sub in.
Yeah. Premier League experience as well, knows where the goal is. If you got him cheap enough, I wouldn't mind that. And he was actually, I listened to an interview he done a while ago, ages ago, and he was actually saying that he was due to join Tottenham, and then Carlos Vinicius ended up at Tottenham, and the deal just went dead. But he was actually due to come into Tottenham at that time, so that's very interesting. So maybe now that he is floating around, maybe we could go and get him. Who knows? But back to Tottenham, back to the main man, Cuti Romero, whatever you want to call him. Look, for me, this guy, I think he's just an absolute savage. I really like him, Jack. Even after watching him, Europa League or the Europa Conference League there Thursday night, I love him. He's positive. He's just so positive. He gets forward as well, and I like that. He when he feels there's a chance on, he will break and he will go for it. Even from that corner kick, that was no free kick the other day when he got the yellow. That was no free kick, but the way he just, charged out to win that ball, the desire, the passion, he's nasty again. He adds to the nasty crew. Skip, Højbjerg, Romero. I bet you they all fist pump and high five each other after each challenge they make, and you know what I mean. They all try and outdo each other and everything else. Honestly, I'd say they're absolute horrible in training. Absolute dogs to play against, and I'd say they're absolutely loving the three of them together, walking around, the three amigos. Everyone I'd say is so afraid to see them coming, and they're all jumping into doors along the corridor, to get out of the way because they're afraid they might get a nipple cripple or a hair pull or something like that. I absolutely love it. It's about time we had that nastiness at Tottenham. But look, with Romero, I actually would like to see him start tomorrow. Look, we paid 55 million for him. He's Toby's replacement. He's the long-term replacement in that position. For me, if he's fit, I want to see him. And I would actually want to see him in a back four because he's going to have to get used to playing into a back four at some stage. And what better game to do it against Watford? And plus, we can allow him to start bringing out the ball. That might actually help us in the possession stat as well because he's comfortable on the ball. He likes to come out with the ball, which means if he's willing to drive out with the ball, some of our midfielders then can push on a bit. And then we can start passing it around. And for me, I think I would be happy to see him in a four, and you can allow him to come out of the back with the ball because Maguire does it at Chelsea or at United. They play a back four. You know what I mean? And for me, an ideal partnership is an absolute savage, right? And then a ball player. But in Romero, you have the both of them in one. So the question is who partners him? And for me, at the minute, it does look like that Nuno fancies Dyer. Captain pre-season, captain when Kane came off the other night. He was given the captain's armband and he was picked for the other night. And for me, that probably gives you an indication into who Nuno probably trusts. So for me, I actually think it will be a Romero and a Dyer partnership. Look, you'll have Dyer doing, putting his big mallet head in the way of things, getting clearances or whatever, while he's on form. And then you'll have Romero who'll do the passing, do all the aggressive stuff, get right up their arse, get the tackles in, play out. And for me, I think he's another part of this jigsaw puzzle. Look, this first 11 for Nuno is nowhere near completed. He's done the job at what he's had to do and with what he's had for the first couple of games. But I envision Brian Hill getting into this team. I envision Romero getting into this team. So for me, they're going to have to get in at some stage. And I think Romero, tomorrow, it's the ideal chance to get him some game time as well before big Romelu Lukaku and and the scum come around. You get him in now, and then you get him in against Palace after the international break and then let him find his feet. That's what I would do. Because the last thing I want is throwing him in just randomly against Chelsea and Arsenal. I would like to get him used to and accustomed to the Premier League and just feeling comfortable. So I think he'd be a very good option all around for us, even if it's in a back four. And I'd love to see him in a back four, to be honest with you.
Sure, Dave, absolutely. And the sooner the better for our number 4 is what I would say, our new number 4. And then Jiminy here with the super chat. Really big yourself up, Jiminy. It's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while, Jiminy. Good to see you. He says, how cool is it that Cristiano Ronaldo would be back in the Premier League? Hopefully he bottles it again. Hopefully he bottles it against us, but I'm really excited to see him. Yeah, to be honest, I am pretty excited to see Kron, back in the Premier League. I will say maybe I am more of a Kron fan than I've ever been a Messi fan, but at the same time, I'm totally with you. I am quite worried for when he comes up against us, and maybe, hopefully there's a bit more room in Tanganga's pockets, maybe left for him by, that stage of the season. Maybe Davinson Sanchez might have to, step in and maybe fill him in with his pockets. because honestly, with the wages that Ronaldo will be on and everything, I'm not sure Tanganga has enough space for it. David might have to pass it off to Sanchez, and say, listen, here's a good wage for you, here's a good bonus for you. What do you think, David? Will we be able to handle Kron when he comes into the Prem?
Hold on, I got to interject here for a second. In my 15 years of following football, I don't think I've ever heard Cristiano Ronaldo called Kron. So
he's like a robot, so you have to call him Kron.
With the young guys. I like it, but it's the first time I've ever heard it. So.
Yeah.
For me,
never was a CR7 kid. I always like Kron. Yeah.
I'm going to call him CR7, but look, I do like Kron. The reason why I don't use Kron is because one of my friends' names, his last name is Cronley, and we call him Kronwatch. So, for me, with Ronaldo, I'll be honest, I really liked him when he was at United. I'm a big fan of this guy. I think he's brilliant. I look at the career he's had, Real Madrid, Juventus. I think he's an example off the pitch. He has his own therapy pools in, his own everything he needs to be able to develop himself. He has people that cooks his food, so he's on the right diet. You know what I mean? This guy has everything covered to be able to give his best consistently for 90 minutes every single game, and he's an example to every kid out there, the dedication that it takes to get to the very, very, very top. So for me, look, it is good to see him back in the Premier League. I'm not a big fan of these players leaving, going to Real Madrid, Barcelona. I don't like them clubs. I hate them, So for me, I think I hate every club apart from Tottenham. Let's be honest. I always have a reason to hate some sort of club. But look, for me, it's good to see these players start coming back to the Premier League. The Premier League is the best league in the world. The more these guys come in, the more some of the talent that United and that would be going after, then filter down the rest of the Premier League table and make them gettable for us. So then we'll be able to feed off that and hopefully in return make the Premier League better, and then we can get better and better players in as well. But for me, look, it's good to see him back. How well he'll do? I think he'll do all right. I think he'll surprise a lot of people. Zlatan surprised a lot of people. Cavani surprised a lot of people. I think Ronaldo's next in line. But look, we'll have a quick say on this. I just want to say quickly, Jiminy, it's great to see you, my man. I hope things are well. What time is it over there in Australia, buddy? Will, are you excited to see Ronaldo back?
Yes, I am, because he left the Premier League shortly after I started, really watching the game. So, and that was in the time in the U.S. when there wasn't a lot of football on TV in the first place. So,
true.
Yeah, no, I never really got to watch him, week in and week out. It's going to be fun to do that. I've watched him in Serie A. I watched him in the Liga a little bit. But I don't really enjoy those leagues that much. So it's a lot of years to watch him play for Man United than that. I was kind of shocked when the City news first came out, but I figured it would spark Man United to do something. And but yeah, too. And then with that comment that you just popped up there, they've said that they're not releasing those guys for international duty. So I don't think they'll have to worry about that. But yeah, Ronaldo is definitely one I'm going to be looking. I mean, he's one of my kids' favorites for a while. He's kind of shifted towards Messi as he's become more of a creative midfielder rather than a winger. But yeah, no, it's going to be a good time. I think he's going to do really well too. I think Cristiano Ronaldo is twice as fit as Zlatan is, and Zlatan's still effective at dang near 40. So.
Yeah. Even as well, I will say, who needs the Super League when, considering, the transfer is coming into the Premier League, I will say. But, really big yourself up, Jiminy. I think a lot of us clearly are quite excited for his arrival. And also, I will say, I do hope, Tanganga has a bit more space for him because, he seems to be, absolutely swallowing up everybody. Maybe he was actually, David, maybe he was just, he didn't do so well against Adama Traore because he was considering, the transfer, coming in, figured he had to save, a bit of space for him. So it's honestly well done by Jaffet. But moving on with Faz Radfar, really good to see you, Faz. And he's saying, big up, guys. We hate Levy, but should we not give him credit for handling Kane's case against Pep? After all, he had anticipated Kane's value over 3 years ago. David, I feel like, maybe you should give an answer to this one, maybe considering just read it aloud to you. I mean, what do you take of maybe Fez's, it's hard to know. I mean, maybe Fez has a point. What do you think?
First of all, Faz, you're after opening a big box of fireworks, my man. You know, if Brian Daigle, Bob Spur, any of these guys are listening, their face is going red right now, Faz. I hope you understand that, my man. You're after opening Pandora's box. But look, we are going to get into it just for you, Fazzy boy. So look, this is a tricky one, right? Because for me, look, if City tested the waters with 150 million, I think he would have sold. And that's my problem. But at the same time, he did make it damn difficult for them to get to get him. And, you know, in a way, you know, he betrayed Harry Kane's trust, but he's still going to get the best Harry Kane this season. He still stays. City are raging. And Pep Guardiola just basically said, you know, he's so difficult to deal with. So, and what I will say is, look, City and Tottenham, they kept a lot of things in-house over this deal. I think, look, if City would have stepped out of line, Daniel Levy won't negotiate with them, and Daniel Levy's certainly not going to do it with his ass sitting on some hotcakes right now with Spurs fans. So, look, for me, I don't know, you know, look, I don't really want to give Levy praise. I really don't. I'm as Levy out as the next man. But for me, look, you have to give him some sort of credit, but I don't think he gets like, you know, oh yeah, high five all around, Daniel Levy, you know, thank you so much. I think, okay, he gets credit for being difficult, but I do think if City did test the waters and paid up the 150 million, I do think he probably would be playing in a City jersey right now. So that's where I sit on it, Faz. But honestly, the fireworks are well and truly out, my man. And look, I know Will is itching to come in as well. So we'll let Will come in. And Jack, you're not escaping. Since I've been dug into this, you're also answering as well. So look, Will, you can take it away, my man.
Yeah, no,
Faz,
look,
what are you doing?
The only thing I give Daniel Levy credit for is global warming. No, I mean, he's just being himself, right? And just that's the thing. Daniel Levy was being Daniel Levy, right? And that negative side of him that's caused us so much problems and headaches over the years is what saved us this time around. It just happened to work in our favor this time rather than to our detriment, right? So I don't think it's not like he was doing anything on purpose to try to keep him. He was just being himself, right? It just happened to work to our advantage because it was Harry Kane, right? But it's that same Daniel Levy who is the reason why, you know, Dyer, Sanchez, Aurier, Davies, Winks are all still here, right? So it's a double-edged sword, right? When it's a player you don't want to go, it works to your benefit. When it's players you want to go, it's horrible, right? So, but no, the only thing I give Daniel Levy credit for is global warming. So.
I think Will raises a really good point there, David. I think Will raises a really good point on that. You know, it is kind of just, we're benefiting from the dark sides of Levy and, you know, the parts of Levy that we hate the most. And all of a sudden it was kind of coming in our favor, you know, maybe him being that type of person. Do I give Levy credit? Considering what Will just said, do I give Levy credit for being this, you know, the staunch, horrible person that he is? No, but then bearing that in mind, like if I were to take none of the trauma that he's caused, you know, everybody, especially Bob Spur, Brian, crew, etc. If I say that, if I take all of that out of consideration, maybe, yeah, he has done quite well, you know, with maybe avoiding the Man City bids. And I do think there was a 150 million bid, but I could be wrong. But I will say, I'm not giving him credit, but if I were to maybe forgive and forget everything that he's ever done, I would say I would give him credit. And I know that's such a Switzerland answer. And I will also say, though, I think Will's answer is much better than mine. I think Will's answer actually was a good point. You know, kind of like we were just benefiting from the double-edged sword. Well said, Will.
100%. Dermot, 9:30, my man, 9:30. And big congratulations to you as well, my man. Yeah, look, Faz, honestly, you know, I'm going to have to send a text to Brian and Bob now and everything else just to make sure they're okay, because when I see people make statements like that, I do fear for their health. I fear Brian sitting there rocking back and forth in the corner thinking, what's Faz talking about? I picture Bob sitting there, with the dodgy ticker, sitting there getting too stressed out about Daniel Levy. So, we have to make sure these guys are okay, Faz, when you do that. You can't just come out with the blue and do that, Fazzy. But no, really, I really appreciate it, my man. Really appreciate the super chat.
And also, Faz, it's a great question, Faz. Really big yourself up. Really also appreciate your support as always, Faz. We really do appreciate your support. Thanks for joining us, Faz. Honestly, that was a real headache of a question. Thank you, Faz.
That was brilliant. And guys, everyone, there is it's jumping between 190 200 people watching, guys. Make sure you do smash that like button, and like these guys, we have a few super chats to get to. Get your super chats in, guys, and it skips you in the queue in the chat, because sometimes when we're debating hard and furious like Faz made us do there, really put us to work, sometimes the chat goes psycho. So guys, you can jump it by just getting in the super chat, and it is a great way to support us. But look, Bob Spur TV says Ronaldo will score 25 plus goals this season. He literally can win the league for United. Big game player. Pop over if you can later, guys. Big love. Bob, yeah, look, my old lad also reckons the same. As soon as he seen it, he was like, he was already kind of tipping towards United with Varane and Sancho, and then seeing Ronaldo, he's like, yeah, and he hates United. He doesn't really give them any credit at all. So, Bob, when my old lad's saying it, and then you're saying it too, I definitely think, it's giving them a serious chance, because I'll be honest, I don't think City are contenders. I think having the lack of that big physical presence, the Premier League seems to be going back to that. With
they don't even have a glamorous team anymore, David, which is funny. When you kind of really look at, some of the other teams now, like there's this, maybe we might say, I think they have the best bench always. I think their bench is always ridiculous, what they have available. But maybe you might say the starting 11, especially recently, has not looked as glamorous as others.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. And Bob, look, I definitely will pop on. I'll pop on for about half an hour if that's okay, my man, because I'll be honest with you. I'm supposed to cook dinner for the missus, and it is 11, and I could probably delay it for another half an hour and get away with it, because we're going to stay up and have a movie night, so I might be able to persuade her to, maybe light a few candles and get away with it, Bob. So I'll definitely pop on for half an hour, my man. Big yourself up and look forward to it, and I will drop the link in at the end of this as well. Dark Sun G says about the Super League, imagine if it happened. The Gunners currently 20th place will feel a lot different than it feels now since no relegations. Look, you see Arsenal fans right now, Dark.
They're all going for it now. They all want it now.
They're ringing up Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus, like, please give it to me. We're dying for it. We need it. You know what I mean? They're all out there protesting now, telling their owners they do want the Europa Super League. They're going to look. Arsenal, they're an absolute joke right now. I'm just absolute. Look, I as you can tell, I'm buzzing off my tits. Everyone knows I'm absolutely buzzing with the situation right now. Tottenham tomorrow can be sitting there top of the league. Will I be thinking Tottenham can win the league? You bet I will be. You bet I will be until it's mathematically not possible. That's just the sort of fan I am. But I'm delighted with the situation going on at Arsenal at the minute. Look, Jack, I know you're a big fan of Dark Sun G, so do you want to retort?
No, Dark Sun G. I just love that he picked up on that when I think I said right. Yeah, with Ronaldo now moving to the Premier League, it's now making the Premier League the new Super League, and now with the Premier League becoming the new Super League, maybe Arsenal are a bit worried that they're not ready for this sort of Super League, because this Super League, David, has consequences, and Dark Sun G, this Super League that we're in seems to have consequences, and they're probably quite worried about it as well. Dark Sun G, always love it. I mean, that just made me laugh. So I really do appreciate you, Dark Sun G. I really do love it. I do think they're probably now lining up outside the gates, trying to tell Kroenke and everybody, it's time to, just sign the deal with Barcelona, time to sign the deal with Real.
100%. And look, look, Arsenal, I'd love to see them get relegated. I really would. But no, look, Dark Sun G providing the humour just like Arsenal did at lunchtime when I was having my soup and bread rolls. So big up, Dark Sun G. And Jiminy back again, my man in Australia, early morning riser, sitting there having his cornflakes, listening to us, Jacko. He says, I guess Mourinho was right. Good guys don't win. That's why Levy won that battle. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, 100%. Definitely, Jiminy and Dark Sun G coming in with some great comedy lines there. Absolutely love it. Yeah, look, and look, Levy's not a nice guy, so he won. You know what I mean? So big up, Jiminy. Jack, do you want to say that to Jiminy?
No, Jiminy, what I would say is sometimes, maybe like Will even described earlier, it's sometimes good to have Voldemort on your side, every now and again, because Voldemort, he's a tough negotiator. He doesn't take, he'll wait till he gets the right deal as well. He has a bit of an evil side to him. And maybe that kind of worked out in our favor, I will say. But yeah, honestly, I don't know I can't give Levy any credit. But I will say, it is maybe in these moments, maybe, I don't know. It's hard to, you're not even thankful for, like Levy doing it, but you are maybe just thankful that maybe this is the little small moments of victory from all the trauma.
100%. Big up Jiminy, big up Dark Sunji, big up Faz, big up Bob for all the super chats there in that period.
Really
absolute heroes. And Mr. Kelly as well from Australia down under as well. And don't forget about him. What an absolute legend. Guys, make sure you do smash that like button, drop an elbow on it, kick it, pretend it's an Arsenal fan, do whatever you need to do. Just absolutely smash and obliterate that like button. And as well, if you're new to the channel, make sure you do smash that subscribe. And like so many before you, get them super chats in, guys. It is a great way to help support the channel. Jacko, look, let's get into the last few questions, my man.
Yeah, sure. Maybe a bit on Watford here, Will. How do you feel like, Nuno might set up the squad, or how do you feel like, Spurs will be able to stop, Ismail Assar? Watford's obviously like clear threat down the right-hand side for them. With Reguilon, he's one of our more attacking, fullbacks, as well with Sonny probably maybe starting on the left-hand side, two very attacking players on that side. Do you maybe think we might be a bit exposed at times, or do you think we'll be able to handle it?
I think we should be able to handle it. It just depends on how he sets up. And to be honest with you, it's kind of the first time that we've played a team who, by the end of the season, should be in the lower half of the table. So it's kind of hard to say. For me, that's going to be the key to this season, right? If we lose against Chelsea, or if we lose against Liverpool, or if we lose against Man United, that's to be expected. But it's how we're going to play against teams, of the like of, City, or not City, sorry, Crystal Palace and Watford and Burnley and Brighton and Brentford and, teams like that. How are we going to play? How are we going to set up? Because it's really those matches that get you, right?
Right.
Even if we could just even pull a couple draws against some of the big boys, we should be sitting fairly pretty. Like there's really, to be honest with you, up until December, maybe only 2 or 3 fixtures where I think it's a guaranteed drop 3 points, right? Or not even guaranteed, but it's most likely. So we could be sitting fairly well going into December like we were last season, but it just really depends on how we do against these mid to mid-low table sides, and we haven't played one yet, so I don't know how it's going to set up. I don't know how we're going to look. Are we defensive? Are we offensive? Or do we come out and get it, or do we sit back and take it? Or I don't know yet. So it'll be interesting to watch tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Jiminy here with yet again another super chat. Jiminy, I don't know what you woke up with this morning, but it's a very, very generous bone. And I do hope, like David was saying, hopefully, you have the coffee and the cornflakes and you're just enjoying the show. Maybe you were able to maybe wake up with, maybe a bit of stats with Jack as well. But Jiminy, really do appreciate you. And he says Arsenal getting relegated wouldn't be too far-fetched, David. They have as much a chance at placing top 4 as Man City. They have as much a chance at placing top 4 as Man City, finding a Kane replacement. Interesting, I would say. Interesting.
Well, I have Arsenal winning the league next season. Only problem is it'll be in the championship.
No, definitely. Look, Arsenal, will they get relegated? Probably not. It's wishful thinking. But
it just depends on how early they sack him. It just depends on how early they sack him. I think if they were to give Arteta as long as they did last time, maybe we might see them in the, really are battling, for the likes of relegation. But I feel like they have to sack him after a certain point, and that's just the unfortunate truth. I mean, obviously Arteta in till we die, but at a certain point they are just going to have to, like this question on the bottom from Cranford, how long will Arteta last at this rate? Like I don't think he'll even last the month at this rate. I'm not kidding, because they gave him a chance last season. They did give him a chance last season, and he's going down the same spiral as he did last season. They're definitely stupid enough to let it happen again, but will they? I'm not sure.
5-0 to City. I can't remember the last time we lost 5-0 to a top 6 side. You know what I mean? I can't even remember.
Yeah, even right. Even the Chelsea game that we felt like was horrific, was still whatever it was, 2-1 or whatever, 2-0 at the end of the day.
3-1. I think 3-1 is the worst hit to Liverpool that we've taken to a top 6 side in a long time.
That's a fair point, actually. I never thought about it that way. Interesting. Good stat there, Will. Good stat there. But Jiminy, honestly, really appreciate you. Really, really do appreciate it. Hope you're just enjoying your morning. Hopefully you're just, enjoying maybe a bit of stats with Jack later, because I know you do enjoy that kind of stuff on the Irish Hotspur. But Jiminy, really do appreciate you.
He says Jackie hasn't slept yet. Might be why I'm so generous today. Nah, big up, Jimmy. Look, you need to go and get to bed, my man. Put down the Weetabix, put down the credit card, and go to bed, my man. Stop ordering yourself in them useless things off the sites that we all do that we don't need. Go to sleep, my man. Go to sleep. But he's probably up watching. Jimmy, I'd say you're probably up watching the football, actually. Where you? Let me know, my man. But as well, when it comes to Arsenal, honestly, I encourage all Spurs fans to create burner accounts and just keep going into Arsenal, pretend you're an Arsenal fan, Arteta in, Arteta we trust the process, all that sort of stuff, so that they keep them. Because they look at social media, and it seems like Arsenal, they sack managers and hire managers off what the reaction is like off social media. So just go and create burner accounts, pretend you're an Arsenal fan, and just keep Arteta in the job. That's what I say. But big up, Jiminy. Absolutely, really appreciate it. What a hero. And we have 2 super chats here. Both questions for Will here from Lazy801, which is Nick. So look, he says, jumping in late, lads. Sorry if you've spoken it already. Question for Will: if Kane starts, what formation would you play against Watford?
I mean, I like 3 at the back, but I like 3 in the back in an attacking format. So 3-4-3, 3-5-2. I'd really like to see. I don't think we've ever really seen, Kane and Son in a purely attacking role. I think it would be kind of fun to see how that dynamic would work out. Nobody's really done it before. They've played maybe Lucas alongside Kane in that type of formation before, or if Kane's been out, they'll do Son and Lucas in that type of formation. I don't think we've ever seen it, so that I can remember. So I think it would be kind of fun to watch. If it was me, that's probably what I would do. But yeah, I mean it. 4-3-3, Kane dropping deep, playing in Son and Lucas. The only problem is I think that's a little bit predictable. If you're playing in a 4-3-3 and Kane's dropping deep, if I was their right back, I'd know exactly where to go, wherever Son is, right? Like that's where I would go. But yeah.
Fair play.
So there you are, Nick. There you are. And then we do have another question for Will, but Jack, I want to let you answer, Nick, as well. I know we're both big fans, but he's your Brooklyn brother, so I'm going to let you answer this one as well. I'm just going to run to the Jacks. I've been drinking too much juice and drinks today, so I'll be back in 1 second. But Jack, there's another super chat under this from Nick, and then another one there from Dark Song G, and that should see you until I get back from the Jacks.
Definitely, David. Really appreciate your generosity, Nick, and I do hope you're keeping well today. I know it's a bit kind of muggy and kind of rainy today and a bit too stormy, so hopefully you're able to do something tonight. Hopefully you have something to watch, maybe with the missus or with the family. But Nick, I kind of agree with what Will would say. Maybe personally, I'd probably like to see, a back 3 with kind of, an exclusive, striking partnership of Kane and Sonny. That does sound quite delicious, but maybe what I probably anticipate tomorrow is also maybe what Will was saying, which is probably that 4-3-3 that we're quite used to, with maybe Kane dropping deep and maybe Lucas or Bergwijn on the right, Sonny on the left, and maybe the same midfield 3 that we've been seeing every other Premier League game. So to be honest, it could be one of the 2. It's probably going to be that 4-3-3 though that we were speaking of. But really appreciate you, Nick. Really do appreciate you. And then also he says here, also, is there a place for Lo Celso and a Will Stewart starting 11?
Yeah, look, I mean, I haven't been impressed with Lo Celso, other than the second half performance on Thursday against PDF. I haven't been too impressed with Lo Celso for a while now, to be honest with you. But if he's on form, there's definitely a place for him. I think you could have him in it like in a 3-5-2. Playing a lot. Have Dele on the left, Lo Celso on the right. Højbjerg in the hole, and then Kane and Son up top. I think that would be, if he's on form, that could be pretty good. To be honest with you. But if other than the second half of his match Thursday, I think he's been like in the first half. And here I go. You're gonna have to put in more super chats if you want me to be less negative. But to me, he just seems off. First touch is a bit sloppy. The weight of his passes is a bit slow. There was the one point where he played a ball into Davies, and Davies almost had to come to a stop in order to not run past the ball, right? And there was literally no pressure on him at all. It's like if there's no pressure on you, and you're playing a pass at that level, it should be in stride, straight to the boot, right? The guy shouldn't have to stop running to not overrun your ball. It's stuff like that. I know I'm a little bit of a weirdo, and people say I'm picky, but I just watch the game in a different way. Those are the things that I watch. Right? I'm not just watching the result. I'm looking at how the result comes. So, yeah, but I'm a bit of a nerd like that. So,
I think that's a good answer there for you, Nick. Maybe to make you feel a bit better about Gio. Maybe what I would say is maybe this game, maybe we rock Højbjerg and maybe the holding midfield position to maybe a midfield trio of Gio, Højbjerg, Dele might be a bit too attacking and maybe a bit too maybe ill-disciplined, as well, you might say. But maybe if we want to be, attacking and dominating the ball and be a bit more creative, maybe we could do something like that. But I don't see maybe Dele and even Gio working too well together for some reason. I don't see it working. But maybe that's what we could see maybe for tomorrow, Nick, if we were to include Gio in the starting 11. But really do appreciate you, Nick. Really do appreciate your support as always. And thanks for tuning in tonight. Hope you're having a good Saturday as well, Nick. And I hope you're enjoying your morning tomorrow for the game. Hopefully you have the right coffee, because the coffee is for the winners tomorrow. And Dark Sun G saying, Will the worst was the... Why am I getting the sentence wrong? Will the worst was the Man City away last season. Sorry, I got my verb and Will's name mixed up. Will the worst was the Man City away last season, where we lost 3-0, where GPS fell flat on his face. Who would want to coach Arsenal? I want a 4-4-2 one day. Interesting. I think lots of different statements there. First of all, I think he just reminded us that last season we did get that 3-0 humbling.
3-0 is not 5-0.
3-0 is not 5-0. You're absolutely right. And also it was
3-0 at halftime today, right? So
no, there was probably more blades of grass even eaten, by GPS, that day than even goals scored by Man City. So to be honest, the joke's on them, I will say. But, who would want to coach Arsenal at this stage? It's really hard. Unai Emery is plenty above Arsenal. He's absolutely laughing at them now. He's absolutely laughing at them, I will say. And then he says, I want a 4-4-2 one day. Will, what do you think of this? Maybe do you think a 4-4-2 could work? Maybe instead of that 3-5-2 you were talking about?
4-4-2, like a diamond 4-4-2?
Could be a 4-4-2. However you want it to work. I guess you are kind of, asked to put on your football manager cap, today a bit more than you might have expected.
4-4-2, if it's in a diamond format, which is what a 4-4-2 diamond was what I like to call a 4-1-3-2. Yeah. I really like that formation, to be honest with you. And I think we have that ability. If Gil turns out to be, ready for the first squad week in, week out. But yeah, it's a fun idea. I'd love to. To be honest with you, that's my personal favorite formation. But it takes quality people to do it. But when you can do it, it's great.
Definitely.
Yeah. Big up, Dark Sun G. Hope and Nick. I hope you both enjoyed Will's answers to your super chats there, guys. Really, really appreciate the support. We do have I think 1 or 2 more questions left, so we're going to take them, guys. Keep getting your support in. It's absolutely fantastic. It is a massive help to the channel as well. Make sure you do smash that like button. But look, Jacko, let's take it away. Let's get through these last few questions, and then we'll say good night.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like maybe we can do one more, maybe longer question, David, and then do score predictions. I was thinking, in terms of maybe Danny Rose, and I'll go to maybe David here. Danny Rose is maybe in contention to actually start instead of Messina on the left-hand side for Watford. He had, a man of the match display against Crystal Palace, I believe, in the Carabao, David, if I'm not mistaken. And then do you feel like, if Danny Rose were to start, or if he were to even come off the bench, how do you feel like his reception would be from the home crowd of Spurs?
Do you know what? Before all the Levy thing went on this summer and the Super League and everything else that just added to it, I think he probably would have been booed, by Spurs fans. But the fact that his war was against Daniel Levy, I actually think he might get a bit of an unsung hero reception if he does play. That's just my feeling, because look, we all know he went to war with Daniel Levy. You know what I mean? He wasn't going to leave any earlier because he's just taking wages off Daniel Levy. And in fairness, apparently he was a good influence on the under-23 squad, though. They all looked up to him. He done everything he can, and even when he left, he still went and watched one of the under-23 games and gave his support. So look, for me, I actually think he'll get a bit of a hero's welcome. But before all the Levy thing really came to a head and the protests and everything else, I think before that he might have been booed. That's just my opinion.
Interesting. Will, do you have any takes on maybe how Danny Rose's reception might be if he were to start or come off the bench?
I think he'll get a good reception. I don't think anybody has any hard feelings towards Danny Rose. I think there was a lot of people who were kind of shocked that they took a squad number from him, in his last year on the team, right? So, yeah, I think he'll get a decent reception. I mean, he was at one point he was one of the best left backs in the league, right? I mean, him in the Kyle Walker days. I mean, could you ask for a better fullback partnership at that point in time? I don't think you could. I mean, I don't. The only one that I think that I could even compare to be even better would be like a Robertson, Trent Alexander-Arnold partnership right now. So, I don't have any ill will towards Danny Rose at all. I mean, I didn't want him to continue to play in the first team. Now, I think he's past his prime. But when he was, in his prime, he was great.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's well said. And so maybe, guys, now we just move on to score predictions. And so Harris Army, please get in your score predictions for the match tomorrow. Maybe a lot have said, I haven't seen too much of it in the comments, that we should be a bit wary of Watford, but I do think we should just go into it in full confidence. It has to be, 9 points off the bounce. Honestly, it would be unbelievable for Nuno. I'm waking up tomorrow just smelling the coffee, David. Maybe, might be combing the beard, probably thinking about, how I can maybe catch up to Will. Will's already well ahead of us, matching the Nuno beard, for the future. So really looking forward to, the match predictions here from the Harris Army. I'm going to go maybe the standard. It's hard to know. I'm gonna go 3-0. I was gonna go 2-0 just because we've struggled, to break the 1-0 bounce. But I'm gonna go 3-0. Seems like it could make sense. Dave, what do you think?
First of all, Caroline Dunn. Yeah, I'm from Ireland, County Kildare. We also have Aaron Dove. We have Philip Brady, Dermot. We've loads of them. There's loads of them in there. So there's a good few of us. Look, my score prediction, Jacko. Oh, sorry. Go on. My score prediction for me, I'm going to go 3-0. I'm going to go Harry Kane with another brace. I'm going to go Sonny with one. I'm fully confident we should do this, tomorrow with no real scares. I think this should be an easy job tomorrow, an easy 3 points. And, I'm comfortable to stick my chest on the line and say 3-0.
Will, anything for you? 3-0, 5-0, 3-1? Anything crazy? Anything maybe, maybe you can just, maybe not.
Yeah, there hasn't been enough super chats tonight for me to be that positive. I'm gonna say 2-0. That's what I'm gonna say.
I kind of was thinking about 2-0 as well. Actually, interesting. Kind of was thinking about 2-0. I will say. But moving on. Oh, sorry. Actually, let me go back to Dark Sun G. Dark Sun G. I think it will be 50-50 for Rose after the Sun. Interesting. I think considering receptions that we've already given Harry Kane, considering the receptions we gave Saka, I think we've already proven ourselves to be quite classy. So I will say, in terms of the Rose reception, I think we'll definitely be quite respectful, I would say, and hopefully so. But AG with the super chat saying Guardiola name checking Levy means Paratici is clearly not in charge. That's kind of funny. I will say maybe Levy, the whole Harry Kane negotiations were entirely for Levy. I wouldn't say that wouldn't be totally above Levy to maybe just say to Paratici, listen, that's the one that's mine. That's the one I'm dealing with. I'm exclusively dealing with that. David, what do you think?
Look, we all knew when we called for the director of football that Daniel Levy was still going to sign off the checks and everything else. It didn't sit here stopping any of us from calling for one. So I don't think it should come as to any surprise. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it should come to any surprise that Daniel Levy is still going to be the man signing off the checks. It shouldn't be a surprise. Everyone knew it, even when they called for director of football. But one thing I will say is that Paratici is getting in some good players, whether you like it or not, and whether you think he's done a good bit, whether you think he's done enough business or not. You can't argue with some of the players we've got in. Galini, the keeper situation is sorted, Jack. We don't have to pay for it for another 2 seasons. And as well, it means if Hugo Lloris does go next season and Galini still isn't the man, long term, we still have another year to be able to go and get that man. We're not going to be priced out of the market for or pay over the odds for a goalkeeper because everyone knows we're looking for. Brian Hill, he looks like a quality player. He looks quality, Jack. Yeah, and if he prospers into what he looks like he can, he's a good signing. Romero, centre-back situation. Look, whether people like it or not, Toby Alderweireld was 33. The pace of the Premier League was starting to get to him. And we had to replace him eventually. We got Romero in 55 million, best defender in Serie A. And that's some feat, by the way, because Italians are known for their defenders. So that's some feat to be the best defender in Serie A. Don't take that away from him. So for me, I think, look, 3 very good signings. Lamella's gone. An agent Toby is out the door. Sissoko's out the door. Yes, we have more to do, but Paratici cannot do it all in one window. It takes time. And for me, look, I just think with Paratici, he is rather than Daniel Levy being too busy with transfers and being so heavily involved, along with other things, he can now concentrate on other things. And then all Paratici has to do is go and get the sign checked and just show him the numbers. And that's it. So, it does take him a bit further away from the deals. But anyone that thinking Daniel Levy still wasn't going to be signing the checks, I don't know where they're coming from because for me, look, he was always still going to sign the checks. But at the time, the thing is if we can't get rid of Daniel Levy, at least getting a director of football to take over the footballing decisions. And that's what's happening.
That's a fair point, David. I mean, to AG, I would say maybe Levy. I think he actually probably did take I think he did take a stance maybe in the Kane negotiations. Maybe Paratici was just left to do everything else in terms of negotiations and transfers. It could make sense that Levy was the one that just said to Paratici, listen, I'm the one who's responsible for whether Harry Kane, stays or goes. I'm the one who sets the price. I'm the one who makes the negotiations, especially if it's with another Premier League club. That could make sense. I mean, that could make sense. But AG, interesting point. But I will say the signings that we have brought in are definitely Paratici's work, I would say. But maybe, our kind of our rejection of Man City could have been Levy's. It probably was Levy's, I would say. But OJ here, great name, by the way, saying with Hugo aging, what's your thought on who will be fit to take over the gloves from him? Who will be in the future for Hugo aging? I guess we're finding out to see how good Galini really is, especially with Galini being a keeper that's good with his feet. That's definitely necessary in kind of the modern game for the most part. Most teams that dominate the ball need to have a goalkeeper that's good with his feet. So it could be Galini, but if Galini doesn't really work out or we don't have enough confidence in him to take over, the very, very big shoes of Hugo, it probably would be someone else. So I don't really know, OJ, I will say. I don't really know. It could be someone else that it might not be Galini. What do you think, David?
I think they do. I think they have pinpointed Galini as the answer. But look, only time will tell. We'll wait and see. If he's not the answer, like I said, it buys us time to go and get the keeper and spend big on it next summer, especially after crowds being back in this season and all. They know it's more excuses about the money not being there and losses and this, that, and the other. So look, it's a solution. It's a solution to the problem. And look, all I can say is, we'll wait and see. If he's not the answer, I would actually like to go and get someone like a Nick Pope. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I think he's so underrated. Sam Johnston down at West Brom, I think he's another very good goalkeeper. You know, he saves an awful lot. I know they got relegated, but look at some of the saves that guy was pulling out. So for me, there's two options I definitely would go and get. And then there's probably a couple across Europe. But look, that's for another day, my man. Big up, OJ. Really appreciate the support. And then
my only thing on Galini is that as a big, tall, white guy, I'm a little skeptical of big, tall, white guys who rap. So that's...
Need to be short and stocky like Eminem.
He has the bars, Will. You know, look, it's better. I'd rather sit there and listen to them rap than watch them play cricket. Anyway, that's for sure. You know, we've traded the cricket master Joe Hart for the rap god Galini. So we'll see how we get on. And Jimmy says Gaza would have been good. He was bright. Miss him. Yeah, look, Gaza, yeah. Look, we all know about Gaza. The memories, like even that free kick against Arsenal. You know, FA Cup semi-final, you know, it'll always be one of the greatest goals ever scored. You know, Brian Daigle and people like that still know the commentary out by heart to this day. What a man. Oh, he's on about Gazaniga, my bad. Gazaniga, look, for me, I don't know, you know. Look, he was okay, but was he ever going to be the number one? I don't think so. That's just me, Jimmy. Look, I was fond of him. You know, I was over there. I watched Tottenham Crystal Palace a couple of seasons back. He was playing. He had a good game. You know, it was the one where it was 1-0. Son scored the winner. He had a good game, Gazaniga, but I don't know. I don't know. You know, I don't think I would have been comfortable with him for a full season. And then we have OJ here as well. He says, I'm a United fan, and you all I can say is you are very lucky to have an owner that loves the club like Daniel Levy. Look, what I will say on this one.
I don't know what he's on about.
Yeah, look, you may hate your owners, OJ, right? But look at the signings you do get in.
Varane, Ronaldo.
Yeah, you know, Ronaldo, Varane, Sancho. You know,
he's signing them out of spite, David. He's signing them, Man United's owner. He's signing them out of spite. He's signing them out of hate, you know, for the fans.
Last
signing them out of
signings as well.
I get it. I know your owners are there for money and money only. I get it. But at the same time, you know, I wouldn't be so quick to say, you know, you'd rather be in our position. Look, people say he loves the club from the outside, but, you know, when you're a Spurs fan and you see players like Bruno Fernandes, who should have come to Tottenham, he wanted to come to Tottenham, and he ends up at United, and we're arguing over £5-10 million. You know, you've seen some of the links we're linked with, and we can't get the deals over the line. And, you know, with the way the club has took a downward turn after the Champions League final, you know, especially with the new stadium and everything else, you can't help. I get it. Like, he probably does love the club, but at the same time, he's harming the club, and his love is probably blinding him in a way. So for me, look, I wouldn't be too quick to judge, because I'm sitting here right now looking, I'd love Varane, I'd love Sancho, I'd love Ronaldo. You know, I'd love a lot of players that you guys go out and get. And, like, you know, you get an issue, you go out and throw the money at it, and you get in the player. If he can't do it, you get in another one. You don't let too many players settle at your club for too long either. So for me, look, it's a bit of give and take, OJ. It is a bit of give and take. Will, quickly, do you want to come in on that and then maybe plug your channel as well, my man?
Yeah, no, I mean, for you guys, look, you guys are doing your transfer business at Gucci and Louis Vuitton, and we're doing our transfer business at Sam's Club, right? So, for which people in the UK or in Europe don't know, is a wholesale where you go buy
like
things in bulk.
It's like, it's
below Walmart, right? So,
it's a Walmart you pay a subscription for, right? Though.
Yeah, because you get discounted prices, right? It's like instead of a single can of tomato sauce, you get a giant can of tomato sauce, right? It's their discount wholesale store. But yeah, so I mean, that's the difference between that. But yeah, for my channel, if you guys don't know, or if you're used to be on the channel and since I've been gone for a while, you haven't come back yet, we are back, and we're doing probably I don't know, we're doing shows on Tuesday, 2 shows on Tuesday, 1 show on Wednesday, 1 show on Thursday, and then pre and post match, the late night THFC rant shows. And if you're curious about how to spell that, right there, Will Stewart THFC rants. Check that out on YouTube. Give us a subscribe. We'd love to have you over. Sometimes it gets a little hot and fiery over on my channel. So if you like some heated debates, head on over and check us out.
No, do look, and here's the link, guys, in the description here. Get over, check him out, smash that subscribe button as well. And then we have another super chat here from OJ, and then we'll get into Jack's into the flat cap Euro talk as well. But OJ says Bruno wanted to come to Tottenham. Yeah, he did. He like we could have got him. He wanted to come at the time, and we pissed about with the deal, and then he swooped him in from under our noses, really, and kind of put an end to Daniel Levy bargaining over for 5-10 million because it was too late. And he says, hope your fan channel does well. It's legit, but you're wrong about this, mate. No, look, I appreciate it, my man. I appreciate it. Make sure you do smash the subscribe. I'll be honest with you. Come in. Whenever you're around, come in, man. I'd actually like to have this chat with you as well, man, about this ownership and stuff, because I think we're coming from two different sides, and I think it'd be very interesting.
Two very different sides of the fences, David. Two very different sides of the fences. And, it seems like both of us are saying the grass is greener on each other's, and it's interesting. Yeah. Very interesting, I will say.
So, OJ, look, I'd love to have you around, my man. I'd love to have you around. So, big up, OJ. And, look, get in contact, man. I'd love to have this conversation. Look, I hope to see you around. Make sure you do smash that subscribe, man. Absolute legend. Big up. But look, Jack, why don't you take us away with the flat cap? Tell us what it's all about. Tell us, what to expect.
Yeah, David, thank you. And then everybody, please, honestly, pat yourselves on the back. I think, I just checked the other night. I think we're at 194 subscribers since we started the channel last Wednesday. So honestly, unbelievable. Unbelievable. You guys are really incredible. What's come out recently has been my weekend watch list. Just, the top games that I feel like we should be on the lookout this weekend. Obviously, the Arsenal game this morning and the Liverpool game where, we're featured. That's maybe the top ones. But also Villarreal Atletico was one you should look for. Bit of Belgian Pro League action. My Jovetic, or it's usually going to be Jovetic, but, I kind of leaked my bias there. But my itch of the week has also come out recently. That's also kind of like a bit kind of a short snippet for you guys. But everybody that's, not a Spurs fan, anybody that has friends that's not a Spurs fan, or anybody that's just looking to talk about, some of the transfer dealings, just some of the things that are going on outside of Spurs, please head on over to flatcapeurotalk. I would appreciate, subscribe. I know you'll enjoy it as well, especially maybe you, OJ, especially if you want to talk to maybe David and I about Man United, outside of maybe the Spurs channel, please check out flatcapeurotalk. That's where you could find David and I doing that. And as well, coming out this Monday, last thing, David and I, it's a bit late, but Dave and I will be doing, our Premier League predictions, maybe bearing in mind some of the results and, where teams are. We will be predicting the Premier League, and that will be released on Flat Cap Euro Talk. So please check it out. It's in the description below. Really would appreciate it, you guys. And like I said, really pack yourselves on the back. We're already at 194. It's honestly insane.
Yeah, guys, look, the link is here as well. Make sure, you hop on it, guys, and get over and smash that subscribe. Let's make Jack's weekend, especially after a magnificent stats with Jack. Let's make his weekend, guys, and let's get over there and at least get him over to 200. He did say he would love to end the week this week on 200 subscribers. So honestly, let's make his day. Look, you're going to see me over there. And what I would say to OJ is maybe me and you can have this debate on the Flat Cap Euro Talk. It's the perfect channel for it. And Jack can be the impartial host. He chose a topic and we debate away. So OJ, let me know. All our descriptions is below for all the social media accounts and everything else. So there's plenty of ways you can get in contact if you're up for it. I think it will be a good debate. And please, guys, I do apologize about the Premier League thing. That is my fault. I was helping the dad get his car and his house ready for winter. So I kind of, over the last 2 days, so I had to kind of put a back burner on that. And then, but we will get it out next week. It just means I have another weekend to study and see if I can get it right. But look, over there, guys, Jack, he puts his heart and his soul into the channel. We're going to be ramping up the content as well. We will be getting out live debates, watch-alongs, and everything else as soon as the Champions League starts. So, guys, please do get over there and smash that subscribe. And while I'll ramble on, everyone, let's get to 200. I'm not ending this stream till we get over to 200 on the Flat Cap Euro Talk. So, Jack, you keep an eye on it while I do these super chats here and just make sure we get over to 200. We have OJ, what's your say on Arsenal? Even for a rival, it's sad to see them like this. What do you think? No, I'm absolutely delighted, to be honest with you. I wouldn't care if they were down in the in the Conference League in England. I really couldn't give a crap about Arsenal. I'm absolutely delighted, OJ, to be honest. Rivals or not, I just hate them. And I really actually do hope they do get relegated. Will, do you want to come in on this one?
Oh, absolutely. The Amazon. I hope the Amazon documentary All or Nothing turns into the Sunderland Netflix documentary where they go down and then go down again. Right, like that's my hope. No, I would love it if Arsenal got relegated and never got back into the Premier League. I think it would be amazing.
Oh, stop. You can imagine seeing DT and Robbie and all from AFTV crying down in the Championship, losing to a commentary scene or something like that. It'd be absolutely brilliant.
I'd actually have to subscribe to their channel and hit the bell if that happened, because I'd have to be notified every time they went live. Oh, it'd be glorious.
And Will does actually troll Ty over there as well. That is pretty
He's been
funny,
hiding.
so it is. Jack, is that you that's typed in there? Yeah.
I just checked. We're at 196 now.
Okay,
just four more people, please. Especially it would be honestly incredible over the weekend to just have 200. It really would. But we are now kind of maybe a lot of the people here are definitely maybe more of the Harris Army regulars. So I will say I bet they're already subscribed. But everybody, like I said, I'm already so thankful though, David. If I'm going to cut you off, David, I'm already very, very thankful for what I've already received so far from everybody. The support has been insane from it. Also, everybody leaving comments, in every video has also been incredible, especially Catman Jess, to Paro Miguel down there, to everybody. I know, Romero, even, the player on our own team, has been leaving comments, as well. Everybody's been so incredible. So I really will say thank you very much.
No, I absolutely love it. But Jack, I'm always the optimist. I believe we can wean 4 people out. I'm going to start naming them. Steve Broom Hamilton, get over to the Flat Cap Euro Talk. The link is here. You can subscribe. We have Paro
198,
Miguel.
198. 2 more. Who wants it? 2 more. Who wants it?
Philip. There's a few of them. I'm always optimistic. But look, I think we can definitely wean out 2 more while I get to cover these super chats. So guys, look, the link is here in the description. I will put it in again.
199.
There you are. 1 more. Come on, guys. We can do it. AG says, Paratici job title is head of football operations. Guardiola on camera said we were negotiating with Levy.
200. Big up to everybody. 200. Big up to everybody. Really, honestly, you guys are insane. David is relentless, and I really do appreciate you, Davo. But everybody really appreciate you. Honestly, Harris Army, you can't be stopped. And I do hope you guys enjoy the content. There's going to be so much more coming out. Like David said, the FIFA is going to be coming out. I think that's the one thing we didn't, say is the FIFA will be on Flat Cap Euro Talk between David and I as well, especially maybe at one point when we figure out how to play you guys in FIFA. That will be over on Flat Cap Euro Talk. So everybody, please stay tuned to it. Please stay tuned for it. There's going to be something there for everybody, I would say.
No, 100%. There is a big up the Harris Army making Jack streams for the weekend. You can go to sleep happy now. Absolutely love it. Big yourselves up. And look, maybe we can push the 205. I am a bit, relentless when it comes to them things. So maybe, look, we could push 205. But AG, look, I fully get what you're saying. I fully get it. But when it comes to Harry Kane, I think the reason why Levy ended up being brought into the situation, my man, is because, look, Kane had that agreement with Daniel Levy. And look, for me, I think that's probably, look, Levy, I think, was always going to be in on the negotiations anyway. But the reason why they probably ended up negotiating with Levy is because that gentleman's agreement with Harry Kane. I would say that's my opinion on that. But big up, AG, man. Really do appreciate the support. We have Nigel Gates says, what's the deal with South American players? Some people in chat saying they'll be going for internationals despite league banning because of red zone. No, look, I don't think they will be allowed to travel. Look, Tottenham can let them go, or Tottenham can ban them from traveling. And look, with the likes of the Argentina players, I really don't think Tottenham will let them go, because if they come back, then they're going to miss Palace and Chelsea and potentially Arsenal. So look, we're not going to let them go, knowing that we're going to be missing them for that game. So I wouldn't worry about it, Nigel. I really wouldn't. Leave it in Nuno's hands. He's going to block the cause when necessary. Big up, Nigel Gates. Really appreciate the support, my man. Let me know whereabouts in Canada you are from. We have Deadeye Mike. Big up, Deadeye Mike. Really appreciate the support. Says, I don't mind going for young player, but I like to get the best one like Doku, Camavinga, Bellingham. Dortmund need a right back. Give them Aurier and Ndombele. Look, we'll let Jack and we'll let Will maybe have a quick answer on this. Then we have one more to get to, and then we're going to sign out, guys.
Honestly, I'd be happy to give Dortmund, Aurier and then Ndombele, especially if we were to get Bellingham in return. especially if we were to get Bellingham in return. I think that'd honestly be a fair deal. As much as I like Tanguy, as much as I've always had a soft spot for Tanguy, I would love to have Jude Bellingham. I would absolutely love him. He's an absolute baller. He's been unbelievable in the Bundesliga. It seems like the Bundesliga has really helped his game grow like exponentially, you would say, especially in confidence for him. He's just turned into an absolute baller over there. I would love to see him come back to the Prem, especially us, considering he's a bit more of a northern lad as well. But, really would love to have him. Really would love to have him. In terms of Doku, I think everybody would love Doku. I mean, you're practically signing Roadrunner when you're signing Doku. But as well, he is really, really good at getting into the box. He's really good at taking on players. Camavinga, I mean, as sad as this might say, he's not going to Spurs at any point. This guy's practically, the biggest hipster, center mid, in the world. Everybody wants him for the hair, for the looks, for the passing, for everything. He's going to Real Madrid. He's going to Bayern. He's going to the big teams. So I will say, unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be Spurs. Maybe if it were, a few years into the Paratici process, maybe if he were a few years younger, maybe we would have signed him. But yeah, unfortunately, we're not getting him. But Deadeye Mike, I do really like that Aurier and Dombele maybe for Jude Bellingham, trade. Sounds like a great trade. And Deadeye Mike, really appreciate the generosity as well. Really appreciate you.
Yeah, for me, I don't know if I'd want Bellingham. I'd rather take Gio Reyna, to be honest with you. If we're going to give Aurier, I'd definitely give them Aurier and Dombele, but Gio Reyna for me is there are two people that I think are more valuable to the U.S. men's national team, are brighter stars than Christian Pulisic ever will be, and that's Gio Reyna and Weston McKennie.
Interesting. Well, Deadeye Mike, look, I'm a big fan of Bellingham, big fan of Camavinga. I really am. I think this guy, I tipped him to go to the very, very top. I buy him in my FIFA season too, just like Jude Bellingham as well. I'm a big fan of the two of them. I think Bellingham is another player that go to the very top. He's an absolute unit. And at 17, he's already doing massive bits. Doku is a player that Jack has me well versed in, believe me. And again, a player I probably would take at Tottenham. Deadeye Mike, what I'd say about you is you definitely have an eye for talent, my man. You know, I love it a lot. I want to hear more of your favorite players and stuff like that, and some of your suggestions and all. Big up, Deadeye Mike. Really do appreciate it, and what a top man. We have two more to get to, and then we will sign out, guys. OJ says transferred in Tanganga and Kane for he meant Tanganga and Kane for GW3 financial FIFA Fantasy Premier League. All the best. Good luck for your channel. Really appreciate it, my man. Absolutely.
He transferred in, for his weekly, for game week 3 of Fantasy Premier League. Yeah, he transferred in Tanganga and Kane. Yeah, big yourself up, OJ. So maybe you're tuning in, for maybe a bit of the insight. So maybe you should have tuned in for, the stats with Jack. OJ will let you know how, Kane will be assisting you, how he'll be getting, the points this week in fantasy. But OJ, really big yourself up. And also, OJ, hope to maybe see you as well on our second channel, maybe to discuss maybe Man United, without maybe as much of Spurs fans maybe getting upset with us.
And for people that don't know, I do an FPL show every Wednesday.
That's right. Plug that as well. Yeah, definitely. So also, OJ, check out Will Stewart down below. Check him over just to, get maybe a bit of insight on FPL every week as well.
Yeah, exactly. Big yourself up. Big up, OJ. And I do hope to see you over on Jack's channel and in the Fantasy Premier League on Will's channel every Wednesday as well. David says, I hope you're not going to get in trouble for being late to cooking. Look, I am going to have to get off very, very quickly, believe me. Dark Sun G says, I know. They're just flying in right now. They don't want us to leave. They're saying, no, Dave, stay with us. But he says, I find it funny that I'm worried about Newcastle and Brentford, then the 20th place Gooners, lol. This is how much they are going to ruin. I feel bad for Saka. I do be worried more about how to break down Newcastle than Arsenal. I'll be honest with you. Brentford as well. Ivan Toney. They have a couple of good players there. And Buemo, I think, plays with them as well. A couple of good players. I'm definitely not worried about the Gooners anyway, my man. And I just hope they do go to ruins. And I don't feel bad for Saka either, to be honest with you, as a Gooner. So at the end of the day, screw him. That's what I said. But my man, big up. Really do appreciate the super chat, my man. You're too kind. Absolute legend. Deadeye Mike with the super sticker. Again, so generous, my man. Really, really do appreciate it, lad. What an absolute legend.
Big
and then we have AG. We should go for Joe Lewis, who actually owns the club. Levy is just being a prat with our money. Yeah, look, I'll let Jack and Will Stewart take this, and then we're bouncing out, guys.
Maybe just to be controversial, I would say that's not a bad way of summarizing it, a bit shortly. Is I do think Levy is still Voldemort and Darth Vader at the end of the day, but you might say that, right, it is Joe Lewis is the one with maybe the actual, is the actual maybe turd in the punch bowl, as maybe, South Park said. So I would say, it would be Joe Lewis is the one I would go after. Levy is, I think, still worth going after almost with the same intensity. But if I were to pick between the two, maybe Joe Lewis, just to be different.
And for me, they just need to change their company name from ENIC to SITH, because it's just Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine, right? So
Sith Investments.
Sith Investments Company.
Sith Investment Group. Pretty horrible. Oh, that's great.
But look, AG, you definitely have a point, my man. Look, I'd love to continue this conversation, my man. So look, get in contact with me with the email or whatever as well, and we'll keep this conversation going, because I do like hearing your views on when it comes to Levy and Joe Lewis. I've spoken to you. It was a long time ago now, but we used to have some good back and forth conversations about this. So it'll be good for you to get in contact again, man, and that. And I hope to see you around a lot more, my man. But look, guys, we are going to absolutely bounce out here now. Everyone, absolute legends. What another great show. Massive thank you to Will and Jack for giving up their time again this evening. Absolutely, really appreciate it, guys. Make sure you do check out their channels. flatcapeurotalk, Will Stewart, THFC Rants. Will, are you streaming tonight?
Yes, I am. 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So in about 3 hours.
So about 3 hours.
Yep.
That's 3 a.m. Whatever this time is, GMT or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Plus like -5. I don't know. But it's 3 a.m. over here. Massive thank you to you, the Harris Army, for tuning in. These shows don't happen without you guys. So really, really do appreciate it. Massive thank you to everyone for the great support on the channel today over the 2 shows.
Unbelievable.
Jack, it's been amazing, hasn't it? It's heartwarming.
No, I mean, the Harris Army, I'm like unbelievably generous today. I mean, honestly, we don't deserve this much generosity today. Really unbelievable. We're just trying to get better every single week with the content for you guys. We know that you've been really helping us out before, with the content. You guys really helped us out, months ago, with all the donations. And now it's honestly incredible to see you guys still helping us out this way, especially Dave and I are trying to improve for you guys, give you guys much better content, considering all the support you gave us in the past. So honestly, it's still crazy how much they're still supporting us, David. They're really insane, the Harris Army. Unbelievable, especially today.
No, it really is. And look, guys, I encourage everyone to support your favorite channels out there whenever you can, because, the amount of time, effort, and a lot of things that people don't see, the stuff that we pay for to be able to constantly improve the content and bring out better content and everything else. So you don't understand how much it is a massive help, because they are monthly bills and everything else. So guys, you guys are absolute heroes. You're all legends. I really appreciate you, the Harris Army, for everything you do for me. Look, over and out, guys. We are going to get off. I'm probably going to be grounded by my own girlfriend, so I probably won't be allowed dinner
eating
tonight.
It out the doggy bowl, eating his own dinner out the doggy bowl is what he's saying.
Yeah. And Paddy wants to know what I'm cooking her. Paddy, you got to let me go, my man. I have to go. She's gonna bait me. She's gonna bait me. Big up Mert as well, my man. Paddy, I'll be honest with you. I don't know what I'm gonna cook her now. I might try and cook something maybe a bit easy. Maybe slip a pizza in the oven or something. I might cheer her up. I know women like pizza, so I'll give her a good pizza. But big up, my man. Everybody, we are out. In Nuno we trust. Come on, you Spurs. 3-0 tomorrow, and Kane is back, baby.
Come on, you Spurs, and Nuno we trust.
Come on, Spurs.
A regular team, My bad. Sorry, guys. I meant to say Bob Spur TV is live now. I have the link in the chat, guys. So everybody do get over there and head over and check out Bob Spur TV and show the support. Absolute legends. We are well and truly out now, guys. No messing about. See you later.